still on parenting teenagers, and today we want to look at why you should not shut down your teenager when they talk back at you. A lot of teenagers go through that, a phase where they're in a lot of conflict with their parents and they want to express and convey their disapproval, their displeasure to the parents. They want to convey how disappointed, how frustrated, they're feeling because of their parents and towards their parents. So your teenager might have been a very agreeable child, from 9 years old, 10 years old. They might have had a very obedient disposition. They were very good kids. But now as they get into teenagehood, that transition, they've become very confrontational, very argumentative. They're defiant, and it almost looks as if they're doing it purposely. And sometimes they are. But some teenagers might genuinely not know otherwise. They don't know how else to behave, how else to convey their negative feelings, their strong negative feelings towards you that you may be causing advertently or inadvertently. So don't shut them down, because this is a phase where your teenager is going through a lot of developments, and this is one of them. Learning how to communicate, learning how to express fears, learning how to express anxiety, learning how to say, I feel frustrated, without having to start acting up, the teenagehood style by doing drugs or by going out with someone that your parents, don't think you should be going out with, in terms of, teenagehood dating, that is, or just basically befriending, doing things to spite your parents. So don't shut down your teenagers talking back at you. Address that. So if it is the tone that is the problem, teach them how to regulate their emotional tone as they're talking. Teach them that if they're very angry or if they've been aggrieved, acutely, they should take a minute to just calm down before responding in anger. Teach them how to choose words. So this is how you address a person in a senior position. This is how you address a person who's superior to you in terms of age, in terms of status. Teach your teenager slowly these things. Don't just shut them down, because this phase is when they are expecting to learn how to become adults, how to defend themselves, how to tell someone they don't like what they're doing without disrespecting them. This is the phase that they need to learn that. So as a parent, shutting them down means that they don't get to learn it. So the next time that's going to happen, that's a reflex way of responding. So the next time they get into it with you, their response is going to be the same, because it's not been regulated, it's not been taught to them how to regulate it. It is better to have such a teenager than a teenager who's unresponsive, a teenager who keeps to himself, a teenager who doesn't give you anything. This one who's lashing out at you is giving you an opportunity, is giving you something that you can work with, something that you can cultivate, that you can nurture and grow into something beautiful. So if you don't know how to do that as a parent, then get someone who can teach you that. There are many therapists who work with adolescents and parents. Go to them and have that situation. If it's just a situation that has caused that whole problem in your relationship, have that situation addressed, have it dissected, have it deconstructed, and then piece by piece understand where it actually became a problem. Because sometimes something starts very well. So you came out as a parent, let's say, you've come out from a good place, so you're telling your parent that, your teenager, that we're going to have a holiday in Mali, this summer or this December. And December comes, or towards December, you realize that financially things have not gone the way you expected, or some other things have come up and you might not be able to hold up to the end of your deal for that promise. And you want to convey this to your teenager, who perhaps has been eager and made plans, for that holiday, and they become really, really disappointed. So when you're having that discussion of conveying to your child that you're sorry you won't be able to go to that holiday as you promised, the way your teenager reacts, may have some warrant for her or him to get disappointed, to get angered, to get frustrated, disappointed, yeah, because they've made all these arrangements and you have not kept your promise. So it is up to you, the parent, now to find a way to talk them down, to help them understand that sometimes things don't go as planned, that life is not linear. Decisions are not succeeded automatically by previous decisions. Yeah. So if we made a plan here, then the next one has to work, the next one has no. Sometimes you might make a decision now and then it doesn't work this time, it works the next time, it doesn't work. So you sit down with your child and you try to explain that to them, not as a child, but as a pre-adult. Yeah. So don't try to use that language where you're trying to kid. No, make it a very mature conversation, because again, you're preparing your teenager to become a mature adult. So use those opportunities. A child who's talking back at you is far much better, because it offers you the opportunity to actually help them communicate better than a child who is just not talking to you. So as a parent, when your child is unresponsive, I think that brings a bigger burden, because you don't know what they're thinking, you don't know what they're planning, you don't know how they're receiving what you're telling them, you don't know what emotional processes are going on. You can't even read whether they're angry, whether they're annoyed, whether they're sad. You can't really read, because their emotions are just the same. And it is you, the parent, who actually, from the previous years of parenting, if you're the sort of parent who has encouraged, your child to have a space where they can talk, and I think a child who lashes out understands or has grown up believing, based on the circumstances in the house, that they have some freedom of speech. Yeah, so they might be pushing it, but at least it's there. But a child who's unresponsive, I would always wonder if maybe those opportunities were never there to begin with. So these are the sort of children that are brought up in a setting where they're supposed to be seen, but not to be heard. So a child who's talking back at you is an opportunity that you can use to build them up, to become, adults who can communicate their feelings well.